Welcome to today's conference. We're going to be talking about drugs and alcoholism, okay? So we're going to see how these two kind of defects manifest inside us, how they take away slowly our real way of being, how they start in our life, how little by little they just come into our life and show us like there's something part of us, okay, like if it's something natural. So we're going to see how harmful they are for us in the spiritual path in our society. How does it affect our karma? And today's objectives are, just give me a second here, is to show the real urgency to eliminate these ways of being and why this definitely won't allow us to advance in our spiritual path in any way, okay? Any kind of drugs or alcohol, okay? This is including any kind of spiritual drug, okay? And also we're going to learn how to help others in case we meet someone that they really want to stop using these kind of drugs or alcohol, okay? So just give me a real short second here so I can send this to my page here, my personal page, okay? So I could be like showing the conference in both pages on Facebook. Guys, remember, if you have ever used drugs before, or if you have sold drugs or in your family, to share this conference, it's really good. It's a really good way for us to pay karma, okay? So I invite you guys to share it right now, and just give me a second. Let me just share this. Okay, definitely can't. Would have been great. And I just keep seeing here things. Okay, well, I'm just trying to do this, but I just can't. Oh, man. So as I was telling you guys, we're going to call this way of being like a demon, okay? Because it does take part of us, okay? I mean, we stop being ourselves. If in your family you have had a person that has this addiction, you'll see that definitely, they stop being themselves, okay? It's like if they were possessed. It's like this takes over them, okay? I mean, you see that like they would really like to leave it, but it's something beyond that doesn't allow them. So that's why all the time here we're going to be calling it like a demon, okay? Because it really is. It just takes people to do things that in their real day-to-day things that they definitely like they wouldn't do, okay? So let me just try it for the last time. Oh, here we go. I think I'm almost there, able to share it on my own page. Yeah, share it now live. Okay, I guess I should be having it on my personal page too, guys. I'm so sorry, but this topic is like really, really important. So let's just get to the point. So here, when we're talking about it, like we're going to be seeing like we're possessed with it, right? So this demon has his own sentences, okay? He has his own phrases. So one of them is, I am the owner of the planet, okay? And all humankind are my slaves. Why does he consider it that way? Because we're going to see that little by little, it came part of our life. So we see that it definitely goes to anything that it's related to food, right? When we're any kind of food, it's like normal that you could add wine or beer to the meat. Any birthday, it's always there. when we see like a sport, you know that people always like they bathe themselves, they shower themselves on champagne. So we see it that it's like everywhere we look at, okay, even for medicine. So it's always there, okay. So we're going to find him everywhere, showing himself like he's all diplomatic, all delicate, and he's always tempting us to taste it, okay. He also says that he is the father of corruption and misfortune, okay? And if we see it, this is like so true, because sometimes people, like, you know, they wouldn't sign a contract that goes against their principles, but when someone else comes in and, you know, they start giving them one drink then the other, and hey, come on, why don't we just go to the bar, let's go there, relax, and we'll talk about business there. So from drink to drink, people start losing their ethic sense, okay. So at the end, you know, they just end up signing a contract that before they would have not done that, okay. So the person loses his own capacity of thinking independently, okay. Also, we see that in a state of drunkenness, a person is easily manipulated to any suggestions. There are things that we say, you know, I would never do that. But when we're drunk, I mean, whatever they tell us, like, oh, I bet you can't do that. Oh, I know you won't be able to do that. And we're like, you know, we think we're all big and we're like, oh, no, yes, I can. And we are easy to be made to do something we really wouldn't have done, okay? So that way, we're also influenced over crime, okay? We see that people lose control of themselves, okay? I mean, how many persons have had awakened in jail and they're like, oh my God, I mean, what did I do? I mean, what do you mean I killed my best friend? I mean, that I was able to strangle someone or suffocate someone, okay? So we definitely like don't understand the things we do, but that's because it takes over our body and our mind. It also says that I am the father of degeneration and vice, okay? So why? Because definitely it takes us to La La Land. I mean, it stimulates our fantasy, and we definitely we lose common sense and we think like, you know, forget about everything else. I mean, this is life, okay? Drugs, sex, and rock and roll, for example. I mean, for how long can a person really live in that dream world, okay? So we see that it slowly takes over another person's body and it throws them to the abyss. So it starts making the person dependent, because it sees it checks the person you know, I know this person is going to be dependent, okay? So it looks for that sense of emptiness that we have, that every person has inside them, in order for them to feel with more strength when they're using drugs or alcohol. So for example, let's say you're the kind of person that you're quiet, right? And it's hard for you to make friends, but when you drink, you notice that definitely, I mean, you could just talk forever, you make jokes, your personality just changes. I mean, you're so much fun to be with. But when you're not drinking or using drugs, then there you're you know, you just can't connect with other people. You just don't know what to say, you don't know what to talk about, okay? Or maybe to other people, I mean, they just don't know how to hit on a person. So when they start drinking or they're on drugs, I mean, they could just easily go talk to someone and tell them, you know, I really like you and I feel this for you, and they could be romantic and poems would come out. So there we see it slowly starts taking over the person and it makes them dependent, okay? And then all of a sudden, I mean, the person really thinks that he could control it, you know? And people actually get upset when they tell them you know, you're getting hooked on this, and you're no, I mean, hell no. I mean, I could leave it whenever I want to, but it's not that way, okay? So let's see, for example, how does alcohol work inside us, okay? So here where we have the name of the animals, the eyes are our ways of being, okay? So we have first the party, okay? So we go to the party, and when we get there, like, you know, we check everybody out too. We're like, oh, well, this guy looks nice. Oh, that girl is cute. And we start, like, you know, looking at people, and we start drinking, and there we start speaking more. We start telling jokes. We start laughing much more. I mean, we're having such a great time. Then the turkey comes out. That means that we start being like a show off, okay? I mean, we start showing off. We start talking about the things that we have done, taking out what diplomas, pictures, cars, whatever that we have, and we start just showing off, okay? We think we're all big. And then the monkey comes, which is the funny one, okay? I mean, the one who is not shy anymore, the one who's not scared or afraid to dance on top of a table, make a striptease. I mean, whatever, we're just having fun. And then comes the pig, which is you just have sex with anyone. I mean, first you start like just picking, right? This one, that one, no, hell no, right? But then all of a sudden, like, everybody looks great. I mean, like, oh my god, they're all beautiful, all these guys are hot, and you end up just sleeping with anyone, okay? So that's why it's called the I Pig, okay? But unfortunately, the consequences of pleasure is always pain, okay? We always have a lot of fun, but the next day, we're like, oh my god. I mean, isn't it like so obvious? Like, the next day, you just don't remember. And you're like, wait, and so you check your WhatsApp, and you're looking like the conversations to try to remember, and you're like, oh my god. And then anyone who writes to you, you're just waiting to see if they're going to make fun of you, if they're going to send you a picture of something that you were doing. So there, after that's so much fun that you had, it's going to come the pain. And that's just like the funny part, just saying, like, you know, well, things that I don't remember, maybe I made a fool of myself. But what happens when people, like, they wake up in a hospital, people who try even to kill themselves because, I mean, they totally like lose themselves, or when you wake up in jail, or when you wake up and it's not even your bedroom and you don't even know who you slept with. So there comes the pain, okay? How many people have really woken up in a hotel, and in the mirror, you know, they say, you know, like, welcome to the HIV world or something like that. So it is something that slowly, wisely, it will take us up through that mountain, you know, making us feel great. There's nothing to it, don't worry. And all of a sudden, it's just going to throw you to the abyss, okay? It also says, I am the destroyer of homes, okay? And it definitely ends anybody's principle, okay? Your own principles, your family principles, social principles, or religious. I mean, any kind of principles that you have, it will always finish them, because definitely, like, it makes us think that, what the heck, you know, forget about it. I mean, like, you know, a person like a father, he's always there with his kids, giving money for the rent, to buy the food, but all of a sudden, when he gets hooked up on this, he stops paying, okay? And he just would say, like, oh my god, you guys are not going to believe this, I got mugged right outside my job, and they stole my salary, or I lost my credit card, or you're not going to believe what happened, and they just make up stories, and they stop paying their things, okay? So they forget about the principles that they had, like, you know, the most important is going to be always the rent and the food, and whatever is left, well, okay, I mean, we could waste that, but little by little, I mean, this is just going to start happening. Start stealing inside the home, then blaming it on other people, then after stealing in your own house, then you start stealing in a friend's house, in a family's house. Plus, also the bad example, which I wrote it wrong, I forgot to write the A there, that we give children with it. I mean, we don't have that common sense to think, you know, like, we have a birthday and we bring like the champagne for adults, right? but then we buy the one for kids and we put it there on the table, and we don't think of the message that we're giving our kids, that we're telling them that like right now you're too little to drink, but after a certain age then you're going to drink from this bottle. Okay, so that's like the reflection of this conference too, for us to understand that we definitely don't want to give them that example, but we're unconsciously doing it. Okay, so the best thing that we could do is stop buying those bottles to them. I mean, really talk to them about it, like this is just a meeting and this is just going to be for adults just to cheer, and that's it, right? But this is no good. It does a lot of wrong things to your body, and for them to understand that definitely, I mean, they shouldn't drink. Okay, it develops irresponsibility and breach, as I was talking to you about it. It finishes our human part. Okay, that means that us as human, we have love. Okay, we have that capacity of helping other people without receiving nothing back. But when we start using drugs or alcohol, we definitely lose it. Okay, we definitely, we become animals, and this is like a good example of it. You could see that if you have lived this in your family, you're going to see that the mother could really cry to her son. She could get down on her knees and beg him, really, please stop it. You're killing me. I mean, I'm not able to sleep for days. Look how thin I am. Your brother could come and tell you, mom is at the hospital. You're going to end up killing her. I mean, don't you see how you are? Look at yourself. And the person just can't feel anything inside himself. I mean, he just cannot feel bad. He cannot feel regret. He's just going to want to keep drinking and using more drugs, and you're like, it's like if you were facing a monster, like what happened to you. I mean, like I don't know you anymore. Okay, that's why I told you at the beginning that this is like seeing a person that has been possessed. Okay, but here we must have it in mind that it's not the person's fault, that really we must understand that that person is just not able to feel in that moment. Okay, because he's not clean. But once that person is clean, the person is going to react again, and his feelings are going to come back, and of course he loves you, and of course he never would have wanted to hurt you. Okay, it's just something that he just cannot handle. Okay, so we must send this person a lot of love, a lot of energy, and pray to God so much to help them out, to help them understand, to help them see that definitely they have a problem, for them to really want to come out and leave it. Okay, but to make a person take them to a rehab because you have to, is just a waste of time. They're going to be in a rehab for 1 month, 3 months, even a year, and they're just going to go back and do it again if they're never conscious of how they're harming themselves, of how bad they are. Okay, so we really have to learn to wait for them to really understand and to really take the decision to want to change. Okay, we say here that it lubricates the wheel of the samsara. Why? Because if you saw the conferences before where we talk about the evolution and involution and revolution, we see there that the wheel of samsara, we start going up through the different kingdoms, right? And then we die, but we're going to come back. So this means that when we use drugs and alcohol, little by little, they go into our bloodstream to get into our ADN, okay, through our living cells. So they get in there. So this vice knows that he's going to come back in our next life. Okay, that's why we see, let me just get some water, I'm sorry. So that's why we see, for example, you say like, but I mean, in school we saw like so many people tasted drugs or alcohol, right? But not everybody became addicted. So why do some people become more addicted than others? Because in lives before they have already done it. Okay, so since it's in their ADN, it's just to go back to where they were. So like they get hooked so easily because they had been hooked in a life before. But to another person who's their first or second time they do this, it's not going to develop so fast in them. Okay, so that's why it lubricates the wheel of the samsara. So every time that we return, it's going to make the person get hooked to these drugs faster and stronger. So it's going to take them to die faster. Okay, it's going to finish with their physical body faster. Plus, every time we come, there are more different drugs which actually you become more addicted to, and they are stronger. So every time that we come back, it's going to be worse. Sorry, climate change. We're entering autumn, so my throat, it's like kind of sucks today. I'm so sorry. It ends the possibilities of being. I mean, we have dreams. We see, like, when we were in school, they asked us, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we would always say, like, you know, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a model, I want to be a mom, I want to be a teacher. But when we get hooked on drugs, I mean, definitely that possibility of being that dream that we had, it's never going to happen. So it's just going to ruin people's life. Okay, it impedes us to reach chastity. Why? Because we see how easily it is for you guys, especially, and you know it, like if you want to be with the girl, you know that it's easier for you if you have some drinks before that. You know that easily you're going to convince her. You don't even have to convince her. You know that you're going to end up having sex, right? But if there's no alcohol between, it's going to be like harder to get the girl to accept. Okay, so in each drop of alcohol, our energy is stolen. Okay, because each drop affects all of our energy centers that we have in the body. It makes the whole body react. We see how we start feeling hot, how we start turning red, how our eyes look different. So definitely the body is just burning so much energy. Okay, and in sex, it takes us to the worst vileness. We see that there's like a group of friends, right? So we start playing like truth or dare, right? But we're just friends, so okay. But the next time that we play, we're going to make it more difficult, right? And then we're going to start saying like, okay, but let's do it with the clothes. So you're going to take whatever thing I say, you're going to take it off. But what happens the first time, maybe us like women, we're going to say, yeah, but everything except our underwear. Oh, okay, fine, we'll leave it until there. Okay, but what's going to happen the next time? Okay, but now this time we're going to take everything off. I mean, forget it. I mean, come on. Then you're going to take everything off. But what's going to happen in the next party? It's going to become like rougher, right? And then you're going to say, but okay, but now this time with kisses here and there, but next time with penetration. And each time the game is going to be worse and worse. Okay, and then you're going to feel like shame. But then this vice also convinces you, like, you know, it's just between us, nobody's going to feel bad. I mean, don't worry about it. I know you don't like this person, or I know you're not like that, but nobody's going to say anything. It was just for fun. It's nothing personal. Just let it go. Okay, so it just washes our brain. Okay, it increases our weaknesses because each time it influences each time it's going to influence even more for us to do something worse, okay? Plus, we work consciously a lot on our psychology to kill the different ways of being, but when we drink, it's just going to bring back those ways of being that we have killed. Those eyes are going to return, okay? Now, let's talk about the mystic drugs, okay? The human being has always been in search of any transcendental experience, right? And we're there like thinking and wanting. This may be the wrong job for you. You do this to make someone else happy. It's not for you, huh? Well, no, not really. It really makes me happy, but thanks for the message anyways. So, here in the mystic drugs, I mean, definitely, it is something that we are always looking for a new experience, right? We want, because it's the need of our soul to go back to those higher dimensions. So we feel that in the use of these drugs, we are experiencing these higher feelings that we had, right? And it's going to make us feel like we're returning home, but that is just a hope. It's taking us out of our own reality, okay? The only way that we could really experience this is through transcendental meditation and through astral unfoldment, okay? So there, it's where we are really conscious, okay? Because we see, if you have lived it and if you have practiced it before, we know that definitely there you're totally conscious. Like, you could call your own being and you could make them the questions that you want. You could go and have access to your Akashic records, for example, right? You know that you could call a master and you could conjurate this person in order for him to either just know if it is really him, or for him to show who he really is. But when we are under any of kind of drugs like ayahuasca, DMT, mushrooms, okay? I mean, all of these different types of drugs that they call mystic, right? Nowadays, we see that definitely we got the wrong experience, that you are not even capable of handling your own physical body, that you're there in this travel and in that trip, definitely you are not conscious at all, right? You just cannot even tell what you're seeing, if it's real or not. Is that a real master or not? I mean, could you conjurate him? Could you really make him a conscious question, right? Could you control that astral body and tell it, turn left, turn right? No, I mean, definitely you can't. And they're like buying you with these ideas that you're throwing up and everything because you're healing yourself from karma. I mean, like, really? You really think that you're going to be healing yourself from karma because you're throwing up? Is because definitely your body is being poisoned with these drugs, and that's why everything inside you, it's coming out, okay? Because your body is intoxicated. That's what's really happening to you. But we really believe these people. So you're really going to believe that if you raped a person, like you stole your best friend, like when you were a child, you took a little chicken, and while it was alive, you broke its wings and you took out its feathers while it was alive. I mean, really, you're going to pay that just by taking a drink or for smoking something. Like, that's how we're going to pay it. I mean, this is like believing the Catholic religion, just talking to the priest and saying you're sorry and saying three fathers of mine and whatever, you're going to be fine and God is going to forgive you. I mean, we really need to be having some common sense here, okay? And that common sense is that you have to know and you have to see that what you did was really wrong, and because you smoked something, it's not going to make it go away. That definitely you have to study those ways of being in order to understand and comprehend what took you to do those wrong ways of things and why were they wrong. Why did you do them? Why must I keep on searching until I really feel repent in order to know myself and to pay for that karma consciously? Okay, so it is a hell of a big difference. Okay, so we must have clear these concepts to become a real revolutionary. Okay, a real revolutionary, it's not the one that is going to go and fight against anything out there. A real revolutionary, it's the person who fights within himself, okay, who goes into himself and has the guts to see his own shadow, okay, and accept that, oh my God, what have I become, okay, all the wrong things that I have done, and say like, definitely I'm going to fight against myself and I'm going to kill these ways of being, and I'm not going to keep hurting people outside. Okay, that's a real revolutionary. Okay, we start by changing ourselves and not wanting others to change. Okay, we must understand that the elemental creatures clean our body, they protect us, and they relieve us. Okay, let's see, for example, marijuana, for example. Okay, we see that definitely, like, if we put it in alcohol, if we take the plant and we put it in alcohol and then we put it or rub it over our body, the pain is going to go away because it relieves. Okay, there are some plants that you take them, and if you carry them with you, they're going to protect you. Okay, and there are other plants that if we take them, they're going to clean our bodies from negative energies. We see how plants, for example, if you have a plant at home, you see that the plant, what it does is that it takes the bad energy that comes into the house, and the plant dies, right? And we're like, oh my God, but look at the plant. I mean, it died all of a sudden because some negative energy came in and it gave its life for you because it really loves you. Okay, so we see that these element creatures, they are really naive, they are really nice. I mean, when we see the kingdoms, we see that we are the highest kingdom. Okay, that in this higher kingdom we are the kings and they obey us. So why do we think that these plants are going to give us a spirit, are going to give us any spiritual advancement when they are in a lower way of being? Okay, their knowledge is not enough. We are in the highest part. Okay, we could help them actually, okay, to advance spiritually, but they cannot help us advance. Okay, so we must understand that no plant, no element is going to actually help us. That what we're doing is that we are hurting. We are the ones who are hurting these plants, making them do this kind of stuff which they are not made for. Guys, just give me a second. Let me try to move here the camera because it's here like blocked all of a sudden. So let me just check the camera. Here we go. Start. Okay, must be back again. There we go. Let's see what else. Okay, the misuses of the plants, of any drugs or alcohol, what's it going to nourish inside us? It's going to make us lazier in our spiritual path, okay? Because we are very used to like getting things easily, okay? I mean, we just make a call and we get a delivery right away. So each time it's harder for us to really take time to sit down and learn to meditate and learn to unfold, okay? So this way of thinking takes us to fanaticism, like thinking like, I just take this and immediately that's it, I'm in a state of meditation, I am unfolded. So it's just fooling us and making us lazy, okay? It is also black magic, okay? Because we're using these things to do something that is going to make our conscious become more black, okay? I mean, we're not becoming white. We must understand that we are misusing these plants, okay? That we are betraying our own being because we are not doing a conscious act. That definitely it's conscious to do a meditation practice to come out to that 6th and 7th dimension, to unfold and come out to that 5th dimension consciously. But it's this different if I use a plant. I have no control over my body, neither do I have control of those other dimensions. So I am betraying myself and I am betraying the brothers that I am making them do this to. Let's see the other slide. Okay, so definitely we must understand that if we are in the spiritual path, we are being traders, okay? We are religious leaders that definitely, instead of really showing love for humankind and for really helping them to come out to the light and see the light, we are definitely closing their eyes. So we're here to help people, and the only way to help another person is to help them become more conscious, okay? Giving them wisdom, not giving them the pill for the easy way out, which is just making them not finding the way. Okay, consequences. We're going to see the different consequences that this is going to have in our 5 inner bodies. Okay, so in this physical body, we see how definitely we start losing our memory, we start forgetting everything, because drugs annihilate the alpha rays. Okay, these are the ones that allow us to meditate. Okay, so this concentration is going to become even worse, okay? The drugs affects our sexual parts. If you have used cocaine, for example, and you're a man, you know that as soon as you take it, if you had erection, it's just going to go away. So you have to have sex either before or after, right? But not in the moment that you're using it, because the erection is going to go away. So definitely we see how our nose is directly connected to our sexual glands. So it affects all of our respiratory system and all of our sexual glands. Okay, so we're destroying ourselves. In the vital body or etheric body, we see that the color of our skin is going to change, right? It becomes like a grayish color, because that etheric body, it's the one that gives the color to the aura, okay? And we see that our body is shiny because of that, okay? And people who are able to see it, while you speak, they see like the colors that you light, and it is really nice. But when a person starts using drugs, it just fades away. So then it shows into this physical body too. Okay, so the radiance it starts losing. Okay, also that vital body, as its name says, vital is the one that revitalizes this physical body. So if that body is already affected, that means that our physical body is even worse. In the astral body, we see that the body that we have in our dreams. Okay, when we unfold consciously, we could see this astral body. Well, in this time when the person is using drugs or alcohol, we see that definitely the body just wanders around like an idiot. Okay, it does a lot of insane things. Okay, many people, like some people, don't even like to go to sleep right away because they have this really bad nightmares. And the ego, all of our emotions are there live in that astral projection. So there, our own wrong ways of being are definitely having a party. Okay, they're actually becoming worse. And then when we return, we see how our emotions also change, how we become people who are more easily to get annoyed by others. Okay, how we start being always with anger, we become lazier because those defects keep feeding themselves. In the mental body, as you can see in the picture, the brain starts to rot, right? Well, in our mental body, it's also the same thing, okay? It's rotting in too. So that makes it that there are no more connections between the brain, and it's not going to send signals anymore. And we see sometimes the people in the train that even though they're not using drugs, I mean, definitely they don't know where they are. They start talking to themselves. They could start screaming. They could do something to you and they don't even know what they're doing because there is a total disconnection with the here and now, and they just stay there in that other world. Okay, the causal body, it's the body that is the closest to our essence, to our being. Okay, and we see how it is going to be completely numb. Okay, it's definitely drunk too. Okay, so this is where we lost all connection with our intuition. Okay, we just won't hear it anymore because our essence is almost like in the picture. How can we eliminate these ways of being? Well, first of all, there must be the desire. Okay, if the person definitely has no desire in changing, it's not going to happen. Okay, so we must start analyzing our emotions. Okay, so we start off by taking the first step, is that accepting that we have a problem and that we want to leave it. Then we're going to start by observing all of our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts, our actions. Everything is going to be taking us, obviously, to go and do it. Okay, so we're going to be always asking our Divine Mother to kill that wrong way of being. Okay, so it's going to start telling us, like, you know, you're strong. I know you're able to be with your friends and don't drink anymore. I mean, don't be such a sissy. Why do you have to go walking that way? You just can't pass by the bar and just keep on walking. Okay, so it's just going to bring justifications to our mind in order for us to take drugs or alcohol again. Okay, so we must develop our own will and take no justifications from our mind. Discover every little single detail that we could notice in our day-to-day. Okay, so for example, we wake up and we say, like, it is such a beautiful day, and then we remember, like, you know, when I used to get high in the mornings, oh my god, you know, the day would look even better. The colors were more beautiful. I would feel happier, but now I don't feel like, I mean, this could be even better. So I start discovering those little thoughts. Okay, all of a sudden you could just start feeling the smell. even though you know that you don't have it in your house, you just feel the smell that it's there. So all of those little details that I start noticing, I start to supplicate to my Divine Mother to eliminate all of those details one by one. So what happens? If I let these details flow, they're going to take me back again to the place where we started, and I am never going to be able to dominate my own self. When the case is too hard, when you say like, definitely this is not for me, I mean, I really wish I could leave this, but I just can't, okay? This is stronger than what I thought. So we could negotiate, okay, with Anubis and his 42 judges to imprison any defect, okay? So before you go to bed, I mean, you could really deep in your heart ask your being to assist you, okay, and to allow you to negotiate it, okay? If you look for the conference of Karma and Dharma, there we saw how to negotiate with the law, okay? This is about proving, this is about doing and seeing that it really, really works, okay? Another way to help our own selves is helping others, okay? Because we receive of what we do. So the first thing that I can do is start changing my own self, right? Becoming stronger. As I become stronger, I am going to be able to help other people, right? So the first way that I could help other people are online, okay? Because physically, maybe I am not as strong as I think I am, and I could end up drinking or smoking with this person, right? So if I start like helping online, posting my own reflections, what it has done to me, it could be anonymous, okay? Making little posts of different things that you felt when you were on drugs. Why and how did the mind fool you? It's going to help others so much. So that energy, you're going to get it back, okay? It is also something that you can negotiate in this, like, okay, help me out, imprison this wrong way of being, my defect, that I just can't come out of this by myself, and as a payback, I promise that I will start working on myself, and I'm going to start helping other people, okay? And that's how you could imprison a defect. Sublimation, okay? To sublime your own sexual energy. Your sexual energy, what it does, it regenerates the physical body. So if we wake up really early, okay, let's just say like at 5 o'clock in the morning, the air is very pure, okay? So you could do the sublimation in the park, okay, for a half an hour, for example, okay, at least 10 minutes every day, and breathe that fresh air, okay? Better if we are accompanied by somebody else, okay? Then later on, if you have a partner, then you can start doing the supra sex practice, okay? If you're asking yourself, like, how do you sublimate? If you're a man, then you're going to take your left hand and close your left nostril, and in your left sexual gland, you imagine the same thing in the picture, okay? That the energy comes out from there and it goes like 4 fingers under your belly button, and then it will go all the way to your heart, then to your throat, and then back to the other nose. So you have this one covered and you finish here, and there you just exhale, okay, with the mantra Sa. Okay, so when I inhale, I imagine with saying the mantra hum, but mentally, while I start imagining what we just did coming the sexual energy of your left organ, right? And then it goes up like in the picture and you exhale with the mantra sa. You could do it through your nose when you exhale really hard, or through your mouth if your breathing is not well, okay? And then you change to the right sexual gland, so you then cover your right nostril. And you start doing this, changing through every nostril, through each of your sexual glands, okay? Let me just move this here. Also, I mean, though we really appreciate our friends very much, you know, I mean, we wouldn't want to leave the circle of friends, but we must understand that definitely this is really necessary for us, that we really need to start with new people, okay? Joining things and remembering, like, what was my dream, okay? What did I really want? Oh, I used to love basketball. Okay, I'm going to start going back and play basketball, but I need to change my circle of friends, okay? I need to be with people that have like positive thinking, who have no addiction, so I could start healing. Reflections. We need to reflect a lot on ourselves to understand everything that we did and why and what took us there, okay? So if you're helping a person out, give them paper and a pencil and tell them, you know, give them these questions, and they don't have to share the answers with you, but you know, sit down and reflect on this, okay? And to what point has drugs and alcohol taken you to, okay? And make a list of all the things that it made you do, okay? What damage did I do to my own physical body, okay? How have drugs and alcohol influenced my own degeneration, okay? So you have to be very like serious there and writing really clearly. How did you ruin your relationships, okay? I mean, how now is your relationship with your parents? How much did you make them suffer? If you have a husband and a wife, did you lose your marriage? Did you lose your children? What things did you lose? Did you lose your job, your career? So you have to really go deep into all of these things and start getting to the point why definitely it's not worth it to go back, okay? That you're going to lose even more. After we have done all of this, observing always ourselves and every little detail every day that we find, we're going to see that we're going to definitely not even going to feel the desire for any drug anymore, okay? That somebody could be there right in front of us offering us something, and we're not going to feel the anxiety because we are totally conscious of the damages that it made us, okay? The karma that now I'm paying for the thing that I wasn't conscious about in that time, for all the pain that I made the other people suffer, okay? And for all the pain that I am suffering right now, so you deeply understand that, I mean, definitely what I really need is to advance in my own inner path, okay? And that definitely I must be radical, not even one drink, not even one smoke, nothing, okay? Because it is easy to go back, but it's so hard to leave, okay? And that we have reached until this point a lot. So you're going to notice how definitely every day you're just going to see that it's nonsense, okay? Guys, I hope that it helped you a lot. it has helped me a lot. It is a conference that I really like, that I really love, that I love sharing with others because it is a really deep conference. So if we start practicing everything that is here, you're going to see how your own life is going to change. Guys, see you next week with the next conference.